Have you ever looked at a challenge, a dream, or an ambition and thought to yourself, that's impossible? Maybe you felt it was beyond your abilities, or it was something that just couldn't be done. But what if I told you that the only thing standing between you and achieving the impossible is the belief that you can? Let's break it down. The phrase, "the only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible," is more than just words. It's a mindset, a shift in how we perceive obstacles, setbacks, and our own potential. Think about all the extraordinary feats accomplished throughout history. From landing on the moon to the invention of the internet, each of these achievements started with one thing: belief. A belief that it could be done, no matter how impossible it seemed at the time. In the world of science, the impossible isn't defined by what's already been achieved. It's defined by the things that have yet to be imagined, the boundaries that haven't been pushed. And every groundbreaking discovery, every major breakthrough, started with someone thinking, what if? Take Thomas Edison, for instance. When he was working on a light bulb, how many people told him it couldn't be done? How many doubted his vision? And yet, through hundreds of failures, he knew one thing. Every failure brought him closer to success. The impossible, for Edison, was just an obstacle to be overcome, a challenge to be solved. Now, let's talk about the world of sports. Every professional athlete we admire started with one simple belief: I can be better. They were once ordinary, just like you and me, but they pushed through their limits. The impossible for them was simply the next level of their potential. And they knew every drop of sweat, every painful moment, every setback was a step closer to that unreachable goal. And what about artists and musicians? Every great piece of music, every painting that's been displayed in a museum, every masterpiece started as an idea in someone's mind. A thought so bold and so big that most would dismiss it. But the artist believed in their ability, and they put in the time, the effort, and the persistence. They believed that the impossible could be created with the right combination of vision, hard work, and faith. Achieving the impossible isn't about never facing challenges. It's about facing those challenges head-on with a belief that victory is just beyond the horizon. It's about staying in the fight, even when you feel like giving up. It's about looking at your limits and saying, I'm not done yet. Belief in the impossible applies to every part of your life. Whether it's your career, your family, your fitness, or your personal growth, it all begins with believing that you can achieve what seems impossible. It's not about waiting for the world to hand you success. It's about going after it with a relentless belief that you can get there. Greatness doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from believing in the impossible and pushing forward when others stop. You don't have to see the entire path before you. You just have to believe that the first step will lead you where you need to go. Sometimes the journey will be long, and sometimes you'll feel like you're walking in the dark. But as long as you keep your belief alive, as long as you keep moving forward with the conviction that you can achieve the impossible, you will get closer to your goal. So what's the secret? How do you make the impossible possible? It's simple: belief. Belief in yourself, in your abilities, and in your capacity to grow. Belief that every failure is a lesson, not a setback. Belief that you have what it takes, no matter where you start. And that's when the impossible becomes possible. When you've fought the doubts, when you've pushed through the obstacles, when you've refused to give up, and when you've finally reached your goal. That's when you see it wasn't impossible at all. It was just a matter of believing. And remember, believe it's possible and watch how your world starts to change. Sometimes we look at our dreams, our ambitions, and the path to success, and we feel overwhelmed. We see the distance between where we are and where we want to be, and it feels like there's no way to bridge that gap. But here's the truth. The first step in achieving the impossible is simply believing that it's possible. Think about the things we take for granted today, the technology we use, the conveniences we enjoy, the ideas that have shaped our world. Every single one of those things was once considered impossible, and yet they were brought to life by people who dared to believe that there was a way forward, even when others said it couldn't be done. Take the story of the airplane, for example. The Wright brothers faced skepticism and disbelief at every turn. People told them that flight was a fantasy, but they didn't give up. They held on to the belief that human flight was possible, and in doing so, they turned the impossible into reality. Look at the world of space exploration. When President John F. Kennedy set the goal of landing a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s, it seemed like a fantasy, a dream that no one thought could come true. Yet, with that belief in mind, humanity did what was once thought impossible. The astronauts who set foot on the moon didn't just make history. They proved that when you believe the impossible is possible, you can achieve anything. This is why belief is so powerful. It's not just wishful thinking. It's the foundation for all progress. When you believe in your potential, in your abilities, and in your purpose, you begin to move differently. You no longer see obstacles as roadblocks, but as stepping stones. You begin to understand that every setback is part of the journey, a lesson that moves you closer to your destination. You might face doubts. You might encounter people who tell you it can't be done, that you're reaching for the stars. But those voices don't define your reality. Only your belief does. Every great achievement started with someone standing alone, believing they could do what no one thought was possible. And here's the key. The belief in the impossible isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you simply think about when things are going well. It's a daily commitment. A commitment to show up for yourself, even on the days when progress seems slow, when it feels like you're not getting any closer to your goal. Because true belief isn't about the big moments. It's about the small, consistent actions you take every single day. Maybe your dream is to start your own business, to write a book, to build a family, or to run a marathon. Maybe it feels like there's too much standing in your way, too many obstacles, too many challenges. But remember this, the impossible is not defined by what's ahead of you. It's defined by what you believe you're capable of achieving. Every small victory, every step forward, every moment of doubt you push through is another piece of evidence that the impossible is becoming possible. With each challenge you face, your belief becomes stronger and the walls of limitation begin to crumble. If you enjoyed this video and found it inspiring, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, believe it's possible and watch how your world starts to change.